back to my tiny retirement. I'm Christine. If you are new here, welcome. Glad to have you. No, this is not clickbait. Um, I'm not really sure even where to start. So let me just, come right out with it and spill it. Please do bear with me because I have something really big to share with you at the end. So please bear with me and hang on. Without getting back into the whole sadness of my mother dying and continuing that on, I have to tell you guys, one of the reasons that I sort of lost interest in YouTube and everything was I did not realize that I had fallen into such a very deep depression. But it was just all of a sudden. It was all of a sudden of not being on high alert anymore. Not dealing on a day-to-day basis with, what's the nicest way I can say this? The only thing I can say is my mother got violent toward the end. She got very violent with me. So I was always, like that. And on top of that, the obvious physical caretaking, looking out for her bills, she'd have lost her house if not for us. She'd have lost the family home if Mitch and I had not stepped in, even financially, not just, emotional support and caretaking, but even financially. So I was really stressed about everything. Even when I was relaxing and having downtime, I couldn't relax, couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe. And then all of a sudden it was like nothing. And it was as unfamiliar from what I had been living with for the last number of years. But I realized it when the house was getting really messy. And I mean really messy. I didn't care. For the longest time, I didn't care about anything. I couldn't think. I was used to having all that adrenaline going, and then all of a sudden, it was almost like a chemical reaction. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like chemical stuff. I didn't care how dirty the house was. I didn't care that we didn't have dishes to eat out of. I didn't care that I didn't have a clean surface in my house. And in fact, it still is this way. Do I dare show you guys? While I'm admitting here and dealing with depression, I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about brushing my teeth. I didn't care about taking a shower. I didn't care. I just didn't care. And then all of a sudden I realized, I am in a depression. And it took my beloved, sweet husband to sit down and have a talk with me. And he doesn't care about the housekeeping. He is not. That's my deal. It matters to me. He could care less. He could live in a cardboard box. He doesn't care. But then he made a joke. He's like, so when are you planning to do the dishes anytime? You got that in your plans? Ha 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 ha. Joking. And then my response, of course, was, I don't really care. I don't really care. That prompted a discussion between us. And I realized I'm in a depression. The discussion was, baby cakes, that's not you. This is really not you. And I'm glad I brought this up. I was only joking because, I don't care. But this isn't you. My house used to be, when he and I first started dating over 30 years ago, well over 30 years ago. I don't even remember. Anyway, we would walk into my apartment and I would look and I'd say, somebody's been in here. Someone's been in here. And he's like, how can you tell? Well, I could see their smudge marks from their feet on my floor. Oh yeah, I know. That's insane. I know. But it was true. And sure enough, I called the landlord and I said, was somebody in my apartment? And of course she said, yeah, one of the neighbors has a leak and he went in to make sure it didn't affect you. I apologize. I should have let you know, but it was an emergency and all of that. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, I digress. He said, I know your mom hasn't been gone very long, but do you think it might be time to start talking and thinking about moving on and living our life again? Uh-huh. I did. It had been like 4 or 5 months. It's been 4 or 5 months. And while I still miss her very much, the edges are softening of it. And I'm starting to smile at some of the funny memories that we've had. But I've been thinking that it's time for a change. We came here, moved to camp, because it was just our camp. Moved to camp, turned it into a cute little home. It still is not finished. Neither of us had time. We started running out of money because Mom's care was draining in all ways. And he's like, I just keep coming back to, what have we always wanted to do? We have been talking. Yes, Frankie, no, you're staying in. We have been talking for 20 years, probably a good 20 years, about being snowbirds, because even 20 years ago, Mitch was injured early on in his Coast Guard career, and he has a pretty serious back issue, and it's just full of arthritis. Full of arthritis. He's in a lot of pain all the time. He has a Dupuytren's contracture. I don't. I'm showing you my hands, but I don't have it. Which makes his hands, do this. I don't know if you've ever seen older people and their hands are just, like that. And it just keeps getting more and more and more and more until eventually you have to have a finger amputated. Well, he's had at least 4 surgeries on his hand. So between the back injury, he had a broken tailbone. He got another injury on the last ship that he was on. He fell and he broke his tailbone. So you add all of those big injuries, and he has some pretty serious arthritis. Hey, Frankie Beans. He has some pretty serious arthritis. And last winter, I didn't think he was going to make it. With snow blowing and shoveling and dealing with Mom's house and our house and all of that. I also have fibromyalgia. I have a connective tissue disease, which makes every single cell and every single fiber in my body puff right up sometimes when I have a flare-up. And I literally can't even, my wedding ring is pretty loose. Couldn't even take it off. And in fact, even right now, I have another ring, like an anniversary ring, that I can't wear. I can't wear my diamond. I have a beautiful big diamond, but I can't wear it because I can't get it on. And no, I'm not just fat and overweight, even though that is true. So anyway, back to my story. And he's like, I would really like to get out of the cold. We go down to Key West most winters, just about every January, to see our family, to see his family and relatives. We meet up down there, and we just have a nice family vacation. It's fun, and we found ourselves, every time we go down, we find ourselves spending, let's just spend another night here in Melbourne because we really like it. Well, an extra night turned into 3 or 4 nights because we really liked Melbourne before we took off to Key West. reminded me that we've always talked about being snowbirds. We've always talked about becoming snowbirds and leave the cold of Maine and then come up here in the summers with our sailboat and cruise around out in, the Gulf of Maine, explore the islands and all of that. We haven't really had a chance to do that. This past summer, we couldn't even get our boat out because it got injured. Damaged. Yeah, this last summer, we couldn't really even take our boat out, our sailboat out, because she got damaged in Hurricane Debbie. The dock was in very bad condition. And in fact, if I can find the pictures, I will put the pictures up of the damage. That has now been repaired, but we couldn't take her out. So, and it took them, I don't remember when Hurricane Debbie was. I think it was August. Well, we sat down and had our discussion. Well, what do you want to do? And he asked me, are you ready for a change? And I'm like, yeah. I'm a military wife. We can do something. And my thought was we were going to bring the sailboat down to Florida and live on the sailboat for the winters. That was something we had talked about. We decided we really would like to get out of the winters. And so we have bought a house in Palm Bay, Florida. It's a small house. It's a very small house. I don't think it's even 1,000 square feet. I feel like it's about 900 square feet, and the lot is very small. We will not be selling our tiny house because we absolutely love it. We will be coming back here for summers, nice long summers. Probably early in the spring we'll be back, plant our garden, enjoy our sailboat all summer, and then probably around Halloween or afterwards, we'll head back down to the house in Florida. So that is what has been going on. We have been down there taking care of closing on the house, trying to get some furniture in there because we sold almost everything when we moved here. We sold almost all of our furniture when we moved here. So we have nothing. We've got nothing down there. It's like we are, and we stayed there. We stayed down there for 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah. We are moving. Kind of. So, that's what's going on with us. That's why we've been quiet for so long. We haven't been here. We were off changing our lives again. We love our tiny house. Love it. But the winters are brutal for us. They're painful. They're brutal. And so that's what we're doing. So stay tuned. Because when I go back down, we're in Maine right now. We came back. Hurricane Helene just went through. And so we decided we needed to go back up home anyway. Now was the time to skedaddle out of there. I didn't want to be there for a hurricane. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So, and I guess that was it was quite a hurricane down there. But our house down there never lost power. We didn't lose power. We didn't have any. Of course, we're on the other coast, the other side of the state. We're on the east side. But the house is beautiful. It's in a really quiet neighborhood. We have a lot of fruit trees. Our neighbors have fruit trees, mango, avocado, star fruits, key limes, bananas, coconuts, persimmons. They have 75 trees, and at least 10 of them are hanging over into our property. So we're getting free avocados and mangoes. And did I say star fruit? I can't remember if I said star fruit, passion fruit. It's very neat. Very neat. So yeah, now here's what I promised you. Little sneak peek of the house. Let me know what you guys think. Are we crazy? Or are we just wild? But at any rate, whatever we are, my depression is lifting. We feel like we're doing the right thing for us.